Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 464. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is changing your mindset changes your money. Changing your mindset changes your money. Now, the goal for all entrepreneurs is to make money, but unfortunately, many entrepreneurs find themselves struggling to make ends meet or to grow their business. On today's show, I'm going to discuss and dissect the importance of mindset, and I'm also going to give you 7 tips on how to create an elite entrepreneurial mindset. An elite entrepreneurial mindset, which is a little bit different than just a positive mindset. Now, before we get to today's show, I just want to share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to my latest book called Unlocking the Power of ChatGPT, the Ultimate Prompting Handbook for Beginners. You can go to unlockingchatgpt.com for more information. Unlockingchatgpt.com for more information. Also, don't forget BEB Academy. You can get 3 days free access to the Academy, which is our online learning portal. You can go to bebacademy.com and get free access to everything inside the Academy, which is designed to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Go to bebacademy.com or just go to the website blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. So let's jump into today's content, and we're talking about changing your mindset changes your money. Now, here's the problem, guys. You can't live the life you want thinking the way that you do, and that's true for most entrepreneurs and people in general. You can't live the life you want thinking the way that you do. So we're going to discuss and dissect how to create an elite entrepreneurial mindset. An elite entrepreneurial mindset is a mindset, guys, that's designed for entrepreneurial success. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to be able to create that elite entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, so when you change your mindset, you change your money. And here's the definition of mindset: a habitual or characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. Mindset, a habitual or characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. Okay, so mindset change. I'm going to tell you a quick story before we get into all the deep content. But it's funny when we talk about mindset, entrepreneurs, we're built differently. So our mindset is totally different from what I call civilians, or people that work 9 to 5 with no aspirations of being an entrepreneur. And that's what my wife is. She has side hustles here and there, but she never really aspired or aspires to be an entrepreneur. And so we're watching TV the other day, and there was a commercial for California, moving to California, some stuff. And if you've listened to the podcast for any period of time, you guys know I love LA. So I told my wife several years ago, I think I want to buy a condo in LA because I love to spend the summertime out there, right? Now, I like to change the seasons in the Northeast. I like fall and I like winter. So I probably spend spring and summer out in the LA area. And she says to me all the time, what idiot wants to retire or go out to California, one of the highest costs of living, in the country? And for me, it's all about the mindset, right? So if you have the mindset that that's not possible, then guess what? It's not going to be possible. And that's why we have to develop that entrepreneurial mindset where we believe that things are possible. And that's why we're built differently from most other types of people, because we believe. And so you never let those dreams die. And so I just smirk because I know it's no need to even go into this discussion, because I can show you better than I can tell you. Doesn't matter what I say, but when I show you, oh yeah, look, we're about to close on this condo out in Hollywood or wherever we're going, check it out. Then she'll believe. So you got to understand the mindset. So when you change your mindset, you change your money. And I'm going to give you these 7 tips right now on how to develop an elite entrepreneurial mindset. And that's what we need to do. Without that mindset, guys, nothing is going to get done. You got to be able to believe, and you have to not just believe. It has to be a change in your way of life, your way of thinking. So number 1, and here's several tips for mindset changes that you can use right now that are going to help you change your money. Number 1, garbage in equals garbage out. This is a mindset shift, okay? What you put in is going to determine what you put out. So you need to monitor your information and guard your mind. And that's real talk, guys, because, you need to reduce the number of influencers or information that comes in. We're bombarded by so much information each day. A lot of it is good, but then a lot of it may not be that good. All right. So what I've done, and it's funny, I had to kind of streamline. I cut down the number of podcasts I listen to. I cut down the number of different stimuli that I get each day, because I want to be focused on positive. All right. So garbage in equals garbage out. So whatever you take in, if you take in negative thoughts, negative energy, oh man, it's so tough to be an entrepreneur. I don't think I can do it. It's almost impossible. The failure rate for entrepreneurship is 75% or whatever it is. So garbage in equals garbage out. And if you want to be an elite entrepreneur and have that elite entrepreneur mindset, you have to guard what comes in and what goes out, especially what comes in. So, I was just listening to a podcast today, or actually watching one, and there was a brother on there talking about, these fake finance gurus that have no certifications or anything, and they're telling you to do stuff that really is illegal, like with building credit and all of this type of stuff. So once again, you have to be very guarded on what comes in your mind. Garbage in equals garbage out. And what we're talking about is changing your mindset changes your money. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, adopt the mindset of consistency. Adopt the mindset of consistency. Okay, so now understand that all growth and change come from consistent, intentional actions. Okay, all growth and change come from consistent, intentional actions that are going to change your money. So consistency, when I talk about consistency as an entrepreneur, it's being consistent in the things that you do that are propelling your business forward. So one of the things that I'm super consistent about is this podcast. So for 464 weeks in a row, you've got new heat from Jay Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. So consistency, the way I built this podcast and this ecosystem is through consistency. So you need to adopt the mindset of consistency. So just like if you're working out or exercising, right? You can't do 10 push-ups and think that you're going to be rocked up. You did 30 sit-ups today and you think you're going to have a six-pack. It's consistency over time. So what do you need to do on a consistent basis that's going to propel your business forward? Okay, so it could be you consistently email market or send out email marketing campaigns every day from Monday through Friday. That's consistency. You consistently follow up with your clients or prospective customers and clients. That's consistency. You consistently put out content on a daily, weekly basis or whatever it is. Consistency over the long term is going to win out, guys. So you have to adopt the mindset of consistency. And what we have to understand too with consistency, It's not an instantaneous reaction. It's not going to happen overnight. We always want instant gratification. That's not going to happen a lot of times in business. It's about consistency. One of the things that really taught me about consistency was when I was a stockbroker. I started out at Dean Witter Reynolds, which is now Morgan Stanley, and then I went to Merrill Lynch. But one of my coworkers was, he came right out of college also. He was a year older than me, and he started in the business. And he really loved the business. This is something that he really wanted to do. And now fast forward 25, 30 years later, whatever it is, this is the only job that he's had. And I remember we were struggling when we first started to build our clientele, and we had to get coupons to go to McDonald's for lunch. And then we started to build up. But I realized that that's not really what I wanted to do for my lifetime. But he knew he was locked in. And now over these years, he's one of the top financial advisors at Morgan Stanley and has a very high-end clientele, athletes, entertainers, and people, entrepreneurs. But we talked about a year ago, and he was just talking about the consistency. And if you look at where you are right now, you might want to start crying, right? But sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying. But the consistency is the thing that made him very successful. So number 2, adopt the mindset of consistency. Tip number 3, adopt the mindset of clarity. Adopt the mindset of clarity. And when I talk about clarity, a lot of times we entrepreneurs have entrepreneurial ADD, right? And I've got it, but I've understood and I know how to control it. A lot of times we have so many ideas. We're researching on one business idea, something pops up on the internet, and it takes us down a whole nother rabbit hole. So you need to adopt the mindset of clarity. Okay, so focus and clarity. Also, when I talk about clarity, you need to understand and identify how you really make money in your business. What is actually making you money, and what's the most profitable aspect of your business? So clarity. I remember I have a coaching client, and not too long ago we were talking, and what she does is she's a consultant. And her biggest thing is tax planning, financial planning, and things of that nature. But she was making most of her money by her consultations. So she would charge, she'd do a free consultation, then the follow-up consultation would cost money. And then after that follow-up consultation, then they would implement, or she would implement a plan for the tax preparation and financial planning. What she realized was, after we started digging through the numbers, she actually was making more money on the paid consultation, which I think was like $100 or something like that. But she had more paid consultation revenue than she did from actually financial planning. And so you have to understand with that clarity mindset is, where are you really making your money? What is the most profitable aspect of your business? Sometimes we think it's one thing when it's really something else. And also in terms of clarity, don't forget, don't have entrepreneur ADD where you're all over the place and you're starting a new business every week. So I talked about consistency earlier, right, which is number 2. So that consistency and clarity go together. Number 3 is adopt the mindset of clarity. Number 4, and this is a big one, guys. Understand your true enemy. Understand your true enemy. Now, your biggest enemy, guys, is you. All right. I know it may sound silly, but your biggest enemy is you. You need to be able to defeat your old self and your old mindset to change your money, guys. You have to defeat your old self and your old mindset to change your money. And you do this by embracing the process of consistency. And I talked about that. Number 2, adopt the mindset of consistency. So in order to defeat yourself, many times it's our habits that are our biggest enemy, right? But we have to create new habits. So one of the things that I do all the time is I get up early, and I'm an early riser. So I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. I do a lot of work and I do a lot of things before, most people are up. Now, I know a lot of you guys are early risers too, but I have a regimen, all right? And I had to learn how to defeat myself, because if we fall back into our natural state, then a lot of times we're not going to be as successful. And so what we have to do is a total change of mindset, and not just the mindset, but you're really fighting against yourself. So the easiest thing to do is quit, right? Or to do nothing. It takes absolutely no work. So if you know that you need to do A, B, and C to get your business going, and you don't do A, B, and C, guess what? You're your biggest enemy. You know what you need to do. And once you identify the steps or the process to make you successful, now you have to go out and implement it. It's just like when you're on a diet or an exercise plan, right? The diet tells you exactly what you need to do, but the majority of us don't do it. Same thing with an exercise plan. I'm struggling right now. I'm trying to go on this new exercise plan, and I'm missing day after day, right? I'm battling myself. And another thing I like to call it is wrestling in the dark, right? So you're fighting yourself. When you're laying down at night in the dark, no stimulus around you, you're sitting there and you're just thinking, you're wrestling in the dark. You know what you're supposed to do, but you just haven't implemented it. So you got to understand you are your biggest enemy. Understand the true enemy, that is you. Once you put your mind to it and change that mindset to an elite entrepreneurial mindset, nothing is going to stop you. Okay? But you got to battle yourself. You got to take away those whispers in your ear, that doubt. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But number 4, understand your true enemy, and your biggest enemy is you. Number 5, identify and destroy limiting thoughts. Identify and destroy limiting thoughts. This is tougher than it sounds, guys, because limiting thoughts are all around you, right? So no limitations. You have no fear, and you recognize no such word as impossible. Identify and destroy limiting thoughts. Now, these limiting thoughts can be coming from yourself, which, understand your true enemy. You're fighting yourself, or they could be coming from external sources. Your network, your family, your spouse, your wife, husband, brother, sister, cousin, whatever. Okay, so you have to identify and destroy limiting thoughts. Okay, so, and this is one of the things that I do when I have limiting thoughts, and it may sound harsh, but I even do it with people, right? So if you're bringing this negative energy to me and these limiting thoughts, I put you in the corner, right? Not physically, but figuratively. I put you in the corner. I ain't even talking to this cat no more. I'm not even going to listen to you because you're coming up with negativity, and this isn't going to help me get to where I want to be. And so just like the example I gave you with my wife, right, in terms of moving to California, part-time, I'm not even listening to you. Like I said, I can show you better than I can tell you, but you want to identify and destroy limiting thoughts. And that may even come with changing your network, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Another thing, my wife was on one this week, but we were sitting down last night and we were watching this documentary, and I'm listening to the narrator of the documentary, and I've actually narrated a couple of things before. Didn't make a lot of money. I've done some for free, but I've also narrated and done voiceovers. And I was joking. I was like, yeah, I should be a professional voiceover artist. She didn't say anything, but she turned and she looked at me, and she gave me that look like, man, be quiet, right? But I said to her, that's not impossible. Yeah, but how many people want to be voiceover artists and they're not successful with it, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even say nothing else. But in my mind, once again, you have to identify and destroy limiting thoughts. Let me branch off on that real quick for a second, then I'm going to come back in. So she was basically saying, like, who's going to hire you to do voiceovers? And I was talking about one of my BEB family members who she's into voiceovers now, and she's trying to make that her career. And it's funny because when you don't have the opportunity, many times you have to make the opportunity. So I said to her, I could create my own documentary and do my own voiceover. I don't have to wait for somebody to hire me. So I'm going off on a little tangent here, but one of the things is you can create the space that you want to be in if nobody is going to give you an opportunity to do that. All right. So I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that. But number 5, identify and destroy limiting thoughts. So my wife is 2 for 2 this week, right? For that California thing and also the voiceover thing. All right. But you got to understand who people are and what their mindset is. That's why it's so important to create that elite entrepreneurial mindset, because you're going to need that to fend off negativity and to be able to keep moving forward. So like I said, the way I handle it is I put you in the corner figuratively. All right, whatever. I ain't even listening to you. So you just have to figure out a way to identify and destroy the limiting thoughts. And those are the external limiting thoughts and the internal limiting thoughts. And the way you can destroy the internal limiting thoughts is by reading and focusing on positive things, reading stories of entrepreneurs that are successful, that have gone through the fire, listening to podcasts, whatever. Just try to identify and destroy the limiting thoughts, because if you can't get past those limiting thoughts, guys, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur. Number 6, changing your network will change your mindset. Changing your network will change your mindset. So here's the sad thing, guys. Many of our network, our family, friends, and, associates, whatever, they're not actually good for you, right? In terms of where you're trying to go as an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that you got to cut everybody off, but you need to identify people and groups to align yourself with that have a positive mindset. You ever been around somebody that all they do is talk about woe is me or how bad things are? That's negative energy. You got to get away from that. So you may need a set of new friends, y'all. Not necessarily cut your friends off, but you may need to create or get a new group of friends, an additional group of friends, right? You may need to be around people, or you want to be around people with positive energy, okay? So changing your network will change your mindset. So now, since COVID has pretty much run its course, there are all types of meetups and groups for entrepreneurs, okay? So you need to understand that you want to put your energy or have your energy around other positive energy. That negative energy isn't going to help you, guys. And I don't care who it's coming from, family, friend, spouse, partner, whatever. The negative energy isn't good for you. Also, what's the old saying? Take a look at your 5 best friends and you'll see where you are. Another saying is, if you're the smartest one in the group, you need a new group. So I'm not saying ditch your friends, but create or develop new networks, okay? Changing your network will change your mindset, and changing that mindset is going to change your money. One of the reasons why my office is in a WeWork location, which is a communal workspace, is because I need to change that network. So I'm able to meet other people, new people. It also inspires me when I'm seeing other people work and be productive, as opposed just from working at home. So I have a home office, and I also have a WeWork location, and I may go into the WeWork location 2 or 3 times a week, depending upon what my schedule is. But it's being able to change your network, change your mindset, and change your surrounding. That's really what it's about. And so I know a lot of people were going stir crazy when COVID was really big and everybody had to work from home. So you need that external stimulation sometime, and being able to change your network is big. So here's a couple of things that you can do with your network. Start going to entrepreneurial meetups, right? Start connecting with people that are entrepreneurs, okay? You speak the same language and they know what you're going through. So number 6, changing your network will change your mindset. And last but not least, number 7, adopt the mindset of alignment. Adopt the mindset of alignment. And I just touched on this a minute ago. Align yourself with other entrepreneurs, guys. You need to be with people who speak your language. And when I say people that speak your languages, other entrepreneurs know what you're going through. Okay? So civilians, and when I say civilians, I don't mean it to be derogatory, but a civilian is somebody that doesn't want anything to do with entrepreneurship. They're fine working with other people. Now, you can be an entrepreneur, but still work in corporate America. You may have a side business, or you're an aspiring entrepreneur. I wouldn't call you a civilian, but a civilian is somebody that has no desire to be in business for themselves. So you want to adopt a mindset of alignment. One of the tenets that I live by, my mom and I are real close, and she always said, remember the source. So anytime you gather information, remember the source. Where is this source coming from, right? And so if the information is coming from a civilian, it's going to be different than coming from an entrepreneur, because we as entrepreneurs, we have that alignment. So we understand the language of entrepreneur, and we also understand what comes along with being an entrepreneur. So when you're talking or receiving information from people that don't speak your language, it's going to be totally different. Here's another example, right? So my wife and I were having a conversation, and I forgot what we were talking about, but it was about buying this house, right? Not for us, but just in general. And her comment was, man, I don't know how anybody could afford this house. And we were actually watching a YouTube channel about these mansions, right? And when I said to her, I said, yeah, I understand. This house was like $30 million. It's way out of the range of most people. But what I said to her was this. I said, when you have a steady paycheck, which is nothing wrong with that, and every 2 weeks you get $2,000 deposited in your account, that there's a limit on what you're going to make. So you pretty much can tell every time you get paid, what you're spending that $2,000 on. So your imagination doesn't even stray any further than that. But when you're an entrepreneur, your income can be unlimited. Now, it may not be $2,000 every 2 weeks. It may be $100 every 2 weeks as you're going through this process. But somebody that has a steady fixed income, you can't even dream. I'm not saying you can't. It's hard for somebody that's a civilian to even fathom being able to buy not a $30 million house, but say a $2 million house based on how much they make. So if you're bringing in $2,000 every 2 weeks, that, this probably isn't going to be feasible for me if I'm continuing to go on this path. And there's nothing wrong with it. So let me get that and put that out there right now. There's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you're designed to do, or that's what you enjoy or want to do, right? So everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. So there's nothing wrong with that. But you have a finite, or you have a limited vision of what's affordable based on what you get paid every 2 weeks, every week, every month, or whatever. So that's one of the differences about the mindset of alignment. An entrepreneur can look at that $2 million house and say, you know what? Not now, but possibly later, because our income isn't limited to what, your company is going to pay you. And so that's the type of mindset. That's the type of language that entrepreneurs speak, said or unsaid. We understand that, yes, this is possible. So we look at, what's the old adage, the glass can be half empty or half full. Entrepreneurs tend to look at the glass half full. Other people tend to look at it half empty. Both are right, depending upon your perspective. But an entrepreneur, one of the things that we have is hope, right? Now, you can die hoping that you make it as an entrepreneur and not make it. But you do have the ability and the opportunity to be successful as an entrepreneur as long as you're in the game. When you're not in the game, there's no hope. You know what it is. So when I talk about number 7, adopt the mindset of alignment, align yourself with other entrepreneurs because they speak your language. They know what you're going through, and they may have gone through what you're going through, and they can help you move forward. That's what the podcast is about. I share my ups, my downs, my highs, my lows, my experiences as an entrepreneur, hoping that I can impact you guys and give you that good word, that content that's going to help you move forward with less friction than how I move forward, going through all the stuff that I went through. But I think number 7 is very important, guys. Adopt the mindset of alignment. And as my mom always says, remember the source. So when you're speaking to somebody that gets a finite amount of money every week or every 2 weeks, they know where that money is going to be spent before they even get it. And unless they get a raise or a new position, then their mindset is going to be stuck to this income level. Whereas entrepreneurs, we have an unlimited opportunity to make money, to make an unlimited amount of money, I should say. So that's why your vision is going to be totally different than somebody else's vision that's working for somebody and has no desire to be an entrepreneur. $2 million house, it's possible for you in your mind. $2 million house for somebody that's working in corporate America that doesn't make the money to buy a $2 million house, it's not feasible. It's not possible. Number 7, adopt the mindset of alignment, right? So I was saying before, guys, that you have to understand how you work, right? Everybody is different, and in the way that they move and in the way that they respond to stimuli. So remember, mindset is a habitual or characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. How do you interpret a situation? Is it an opportunity or is it not an opportunity? All right. How do you respond to the situation? I can show you better than I can tell you. That's what the mindset of an entrepreneur does. Now, before we get to the last quarter of the show, guys, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to share all my social media contact information and my resource links. So everything I'm going to tell you is on the website. So go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. So I mentioned my new book is out. Just go to unlockingchatgpt.com, unlockingchatgpt.com. Also, BEB Academy. You can go to the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. It's on the front page of the website. It's an online learning portal to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Also, if you want to build a successful, sustainable e-commerce brand, you can go and check out Brand Builder Academy Elite, which is also on the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint website. And if you want to learn how to make money from your genius, which is the intersection of your passion and your talent, one of my pound for pound best products and best courses is Pinpoint and Monetize Your Genius, which is also on the front page of the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. All right. Now, if you want to connect with me, guys, anything long, right, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Facebook, connect with me there, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES001. Instagram, guys, I got 2 IG accounts. First one is jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. Just type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and connect with me there. And YouTube, guys, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, hit Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, hit that subscribe button. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And for all you first-time listeners, the show drops every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe. And like I said, every week when we talk about consistency, for the past 464 weeks, you got new heat from J Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. All right, let's get back to the last section of the show. And today we're talking about changing your mindset changes your money. And in all actuality, guys, your mindset is the biggest thing that's going to determine if you're successful or not successful as an entrepreneur. When my girls were little, I used to always tell them, I said, if you can control that coconut on your shoulders, you'll be able to do almost anything. And that's what it's really about, using that mindset and perfecting that to make you an entrepreneur success. One of the things I want to leave you with today, guys, is just a thought that I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs about. And it's your dreams and goals may be bigger than your network can comprehend. Your dreams and goals may be bigger than your network can comprehend. So a lot of times when I'm doing one-on-one coaching or I'm just talking about entrepreneurship, this always comes up because what this is a mindset battle. Because if your dreams and goals are bigger than your network can comprehend, then what they're going to speak to you is limiting beliefs, because they're not going to believe that this is possible. But remember, your dreams were given to you. They weren't given to your wife. They weren't given to your husband. They weren't given to your spouse, partner, kids, aunts, uncle, brothers, sisters, or friends. Your dreams and goals may be bigger than your network can comprehend. And don't let others hold you back because they have limiting beliefs. Okay? That's why we speak a different language as entrepreneurs. That's why that $2 million house I talked about is within reason for an entrepreneur, and it's not in reason for other people because they have those limiting beliefs. So don't let people limit your beliefs based on their limiting beliefs, okay? And remember, you can't live the life you want thinking the way that you currently do. You can't live the life you want thinking the way that you currently do. And this only applies if you're not at the level that you want to be at yet. Right. And I think it's never a finish line. I think it's a consistent journey, so I try to have a consistent mindset for entrepreneurship also. But I'll be honest with you, just like anybody else, sometimes you get discouraged. Sometimes you're like, man, why am I doing this? But you have to continue to push forward. And like I said, your mindset is the difference between a successful entrepreneur and an unsuccessful entrepreneur. Now, yes, you got to have the right product, service, or whatever, and you got to know what the heck you're doing. Just having a positive mindset isn't guaranteeing you that you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, but it damn sure guarantees that you won't be a successful entrepreneur if you don't have that elite entrepreneur mindset. So real quick, guys, number 1, garbage in equals garbage out. Number 2, adopt the mindset of consistency. Number 3, adopt the mindset of clarity. Number 4, understand your true enemy, and your biggest enemy is you. Number 5, identify and destroy limiting thoughts. Number 6, changing your network will change your mindset. Number 7, adopt the mindset of alignment, which basically means align yourself with other entrepreneurs. Remember, your dreams and goals may be bigger than your network can comprehend. There's a passage in the Bible that says, I'm paraphrasing, don't take advice from fools, right? So this is something that I always tell my kids, and it goes back to remember the source that my mom talks about. Sometimes people think that they're helping you, but they're really hurting you. They're not necessarily doing it on purpose, but when you take counsel of fools, and that's what it says in the Bible, and fools being somebody that's not giving you the right information. And basically what the Bible was saying, if they're giving you counsel that's not based on the Bible principles. Real life example, it's myself and 2 of my friends are talking. One of my friends is having issues. He and his wife are having marital problems. My other friend said, yeah, man, who's single. The other friend is single. Yeah, man, you should come to the Dominican Republic with me and a couple of the other fellas. And I told him, I said, yo, bro, that ain't a good idea. You're married. I said, these cats are single, right? So he may be telling you to come down to the DR and relax, clear your mind, but that's a counsel of fools. Remember the source. Now, we all 3 are good friends. Remember the source. He's single. He's thinking he's helping you out by bringing you down there so you can decompress and relax. But in real life, that's not a good move. That ain't a good look. And so remember once again that you got to understand and remember the source of where you're getting your information. And I go back to this, one of the things that I've done. I've cut down my sources of information, right? Because it's so much, you get bombarded with so much information. And if you have entrepreneur ADD like me, you're going to be all over the place. So I only lock in with credible sources that I know mean well and that have experience doing what they talking about. All right. So that's one of the things with me. I'm not going to talk to you guys about something that I haven't done. Or I'll bring somebody else in that's an expert on whatever the subject matter or topic matter is. But everything that I talk about, I've done. So I'm a big advocate on practical application versus theory, right? Knowledge versus know-how. Know-how is something totally different from knowledge. So knowledge is, you can attain knowledge anywhere, from a book, from a podcast, from looking at somebody doing something, watching your dad fix a tire or change a tire. Know-how comes from doing. And the example I always use is flying an F-15 fighter jet, right? I think they actually have F-16s now. Just say F-16 fighter jet. I can watch videos on how to fly that jet. I can actually be in the back of the cockpit of somebody flying the jet. I can over there look at tutorials on how to fly the jet. But if Jay Jones gets into that F-16, do I know how to fly that jet? No, right? So the difference between knowledge and know-how is levels apart. It's levels apart. And so what you have to understand as an entrepreneur, and this comes back to mindset, is the path for an entrepreneur is going to come with failures and setbacks. Understand and recognize that. That's what's going to happen. So for civilians or somebody that doesn't speak the entrepreneurial language, that as soon as they had that first setback or failure, they're going to quit. Okay? So remember the source of where you're getting your information. Okay? Because a civilian is going to tell you, man, why'd you try that business? I told you weren't going to be successful. Yeah. But an entrepreneur is going to say, yo, man, that's par for the course, bro. You know how many times I failed? Out of 17, and this is real life, out of 17 businesses that I've started, 5 of them were abject failures. 5. Okay. Damn near didn't get off the ground. Right. But I learned from that and I understood what the process was. Embrace the process. So as an entrepreneur, the mindset is key to being successful. If I didn't have that entrepreneurial or the elite entrepreneurial mindset, I would have quit a long time ago when I almost lost it all twice. Everything, cars, home, whatever. I would have quit. But the elite entrepreneurial mindset tells me that I still have an option. I still have a chance. Let me lock into the right people to listen to. Let me align myself with other people. Let me take away all the limiting doubts. Okay. Let me understand who my true enemy is, which is me. And once I can understand and lock in and create that elite entrepreneurial mindset, as long as I'm doing the right thing, I'm in the right business, I'm making the right moves, you can't stop me. Right. I may have some roadblocks. I may have to shut this business down or pivot. But guess what? With the mindset I got, you can't stop me. I don't care who you are, what you are. You can't stop me. And that's where you want to get to the point where you're unstoppable. And what we're talking about today, or what we have talked about today, guys, is changing your mindset changes your money. Please believe me. It's true. So if your mindset is jacked up right now, you're not going to be successful. So the things and the tips I gave you today, make sure you lock into them and make sure the first thing that you work on is the mindset. Nothing else is going to be possible without changing that mindset. Okay. So if you want to change the situation that you're in now, you want to level up, you have the opportunity, guys. You got to change your mindset. You got to elevate your entrepreneur IQ and change your mindset. Now, before we close it on out, guys, I say this each and every week, but it's true. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast. Also, the new website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and also the ecosystem with the online courses, resources, my new book, everything designed, guys, to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.